My book is The Hate You Give, and I'm person 2. So I'm going to start with conflict, and that is Star, which is the main character, having to build up enough courage to testify in court about what happened to Khalil, which is he got shot by a police, and it was unfair because it was discriminative, and yeah. So basically she has to build up enough courage to talk to the court about it. And something she says is, it's dope to be black until it's hard to be black, which means that the culture is all fun until she has to deal with racism and discrimination, which goes on a lot in the story. And yeah, so that applies to the conflict because it's hard because Khalil was shot because of his skin color. So yeah. Then the climax of the story is when she does testify in court, and not only does she out and tell what happened with the police officer, but she tells what happens, what's going on with King and stuff. So that all unravels everything, and conflict builds up, and she resolves the conflict. One thing she says is, what's the point of having a voice if you're gonna be silent in those moments you shouldn't be? And this applies to the climax because she was scared to go to the court about it, but she did, and she said, what's the point of having a voice? So she's saying you should use your voice, as in testify. The irony in my story includes the term hood rich, which is basically King's house being crumbling and just basically in a bad area from the outside, and it looks just run down from outside, and then when you go in the inside, it's filled with all these expensive items and fine furniture, and that's just a surprise. And yeah, that is ironic in the story. Then I had Anthem, and I'm doing chapter 10, and I'm doing occasion, and the occasion of chapter 10 was so basically Equality and Golden One found a house deep in the forest, and yeah, basically they're just there, they're searching through the house, and the house is not built like in their current world. It was built in the unmentionable times, which was before. In the house, there are like colorful clothes and other things that they're not familiar with. So yeah, that's the occasion of Anthem chapter 10. Thank you for listening.
The book I did is The Hate You Give, and in the story, Star is the protagonist. She went through like a lot of stuff. Both of her best friends were killed in front of her, and
Wait, what was the other bestie? Oh, the basketball court. And then the guy came over and shot her. Okay, yeah, I was trying to figure out what was the other bestie. I love that book so much.
And then the setting of the story is like where she's from, which is Garden Heights, and like the population over there isn't really that big, and there's a lot of African American people is normally what it's in the area. And in her, like where she's from, there's like a lot of violent activities, like fights, shootings, and a lot of stuff that happens there. So she goes to a private school, not the school in her neighborhood. And she was thinking if she should speak up for her best friend Khalil after he got shot, because she didn't want everyone to start judging her because of where she was from. And yeah.
Hey, my name is Hassan Yunus, and this is my tissue box project for the book Alchemist. The protagonist for the book Alchemist is Santiago. He's a shepherd boy from a small town it's called an Andalusian He is determined and headstrong and curious to learn about all the world. His parents want him to become a shepherd boy and not follow his dreams, but Santiago, as determined he is, he follows his dream, and Yeah, and Santiago really inspires me because he is determined, and he won't get anything get in the way to follow his dreams. The antagonist is not a person, but more like a force. It's a force against the protagonist, giving Santiago the bad advices he does not want to hear. And well, there's one more, but he's not the main antagonist. But for that scene, this one boy at the bar who mugged Santiago, but acted as a friend before, but then betrayed him. And there's more than one book throughout the whole book, but the main one stays throughout the book, and that is the force, giving Santiago bad advice he does not want to hear. And the main conflict in the book is that the people that get in the way of his goal to find the treasure that he is determined to find. Santiago loved Fatima. She was this one girl that he has met, and he loved her with all of his heart. But she got in the way of finding the treasure, and the challenges he faced affected the plot because he had to leave some stuff, and we didn't know if he was going to or not. So that was a really big cliffhanger. But he followed his dreams, and even though Fatima was the love of his life, he still followed his dream, and that's what really inspired me also. And the climax of the
book I did was The Hate You Give. The setting, the two main characters. The main character had two different settings. It was her school and her neighborhood, and then she was also the antagonist. But the antagonist in the story was racism. Thematic song I chose was Kendrick Lamar, Alright, because both symbolize police brutality and what the similar characters went through. And excuse myself back there, I said antagonist, but it was the protagonist that is racism.
Wow.
For climax.
Just restart. Just restart.